Hi, I am Roman Klimenko, a data architect in CluedIn. In this video, I will be wearing two hats. First, a data steward who knows the data and business use requirements. Second, a data engineer who helps the data steward with simple IT tasks. First, let me switch to my data steward role. Here is my CluedIn instance, which has 10,000 customers. Let's take a look at one of them. The customer has a UK postcode, but I want more than that. So I called my colleague, a data engineer, and told him, here's a vocabulary key with postcodes. Please help me enrich my data using this key. Now I am in the data engineer role. I found an open postcode API to which I can provide a postcode and get information about it. It looks precisely what I need. Let me try it in Postman. Perfect. However, the API may be more complex than in this example. So I need an adapter to link the postcodes API to the format CluedIn already understands. I will use Azure Functions for this task. Microsoft has step-by-step instructions on creating and deploying an Azure function in the most popular programming languages. Let me switch to a code editor and create a simple JavaScript Azure function. Okay, now we have an empty project. Let's add an API endpoint. You can see how a new file will be created under the Functions folder in the File Explorer on the left. Perfect. Now let's start our function locally. We can go to Postman and check the response. In order for CluedIn to work with this endpoint without customizations, we need to send an HTTP post request with the vocabulary key values we want to use for enrichment. In our case, it's customer.postcode. To save you some time, let me paste the code snippet I prepared for this task. So here we allow only post requests. We parse the parameter, which is our vocabulary key value, with the postcode, and then we send a request to the postcodes API and return its response in the response of our function. Let's test it out. Awesome! I already have a resource group in Microsoft Azure, and I will deploy my function here. The Quick Start article provides all the information I need for this task. First, create a storage account. We need its name for the next steps. Then create a function application. Finally, let's deploy our code. Here we have our function's URL. Let's test it. Perfect. Now I am back to the data steward role. My colleague, the data engineer, sent me a URL for his new function, so I could use it from CluedIn without diving into technical details. I go to the rule builder, create a rule and set up filters. And add an enrich action. Here, I need to paste the URL to the function. List all vocabulary keys I want to send to it. In my case, it's just the postcode. And last but not least, set a vocabulary prefix. So all properties returned from the function will be saved with the given prefix. Suppose you don't yet have a vocabulary with such a prefix, not a problem. The values will be saved anyway, and you can create the vocabulary afterwards. After I save and activate the rule, all new or reprocessed customers' data will be automatically enriched with this rule action. Let's reprocess a single entity to test it. So I go into the menu and trigger reprocessing. The entity is enriched now. To summarize, we spent less than 15 minutes implementing an enriching function, deploying it, and set up in CluedIn. When handling more complex APIs, remember caching and throttling. However, the provided approach lets you solve all these tasks. Instead of Azure Functions, you can use Azure Container Apps or any other server or service where you can send an HTTP post request with a set of vocabulary keys. Oh, I almost forgot. When the demonstrated rule action sends a request to the function, it also sends an API key in the header so you can add a security check. Also, there is a special flag sent when you open a preview UI for this rule action. so you can handle it in the function and return a sample data to show in the preview. This is it. Thank you for your time.